Hey everybody, happy Monday.
Happy Monday everyone. We've got a cool video in store for you today. We are going to be talking about bad ideas when it comes to stocking options for your Cory cats. We've done species profiles, which I will put in the description below of Cory cats, but there are some fish that might not be really all that great. If you've got Cory cats in your fish tank, hope you enjoy the video. Appreciate you being here.
Now I think we should start off at the bottom of the tank, and there are actually some other bottom feeders that do not do well with Corys.
That is very true, so we have to be really careful when you're keeping Cory catfish. There are some fish that get a little bit too aggressive, a little bit too territorial at the bottom. I'm thinking about the red tail and rainbow sharks. Those might be really bad options. Remember, as we go through this list, Cory catfish, for the most part, they really don't have a lot in terms of aggression. They're one of the most peaceful fish that you can possibly find. Where they have some advantages is they have a little bit of armor and possibly some finnage that can be a preventative. But beyond that, they're not really going to fight back. So you've got those red tail sharks and the rainbow sharks that are going to be pretty aggressive. You also have some of your larger catfish. So I'm thinking of some of the large Synodontis catfish, possibly even the Pictus cat, because it's just a little too rambunctious. So we just want to be mindful when we are buying fish that are going to inhabit the bottom part of the tank. What are they like? Are they going to get along with our Corys in terms of their temperament and their size?
Now this next fish actually surprised me, but the goldfish would not be a good choice for Cory cats.
Now keep in mind, often we see goldfish at a pet store and they're relatively small. This has nothing to do with aggression here, and even less so about water parameters. It has to do with size. Goldfish, full grown, can get quite large, and they love to pick at stuff at the bottom of the tank. It would not be unheard of if a larger goldfish started picking at a Cory cat, deciding it was food. Now what we have to keep in mind here is when you're dealing with Cory catfish and potentially larger fish that could eat them, a lot of times those Cory cats will spread out their fins, get themselves wedged in the throat of the fish that's trying to eat them, and we wind up with both fish dying in the process. So we want to be very mindful about the size of the fish that are going in your fish tank. Goldfish, long term, might not be a great option.
Now another group of fish that would probably not be good mates for your Cory cats would be larger Gouramis.
Yeah, now the larger Gouramis, we're looking at more of the ones that are a little bit aggressive, like the blues, the opalines, and the golds. These are your full-size Gouramis that can be very assertive, especially if they're in a tank that is borderline too small. I'm thinking of 20 gallons to 29 gallons. These are very assertive fish. Even in our 29 gallon, we have a group of albino Cory cats with a thick lip sunset Gourami. And although he's not fin nipping and he's not chasing them around and ultra aggressive, I do see him from time to time moving the albino Corys out from an area he considers to be his. So just be careful with those larger Gouramis. Now, the dwarf Gouramis and the honey Gouramis and the sparkling Gouramis are probably going to work out just fine. But those larger ones, be careful.
Now I think we can move on to the African cichlids, and the first group that jumps out to me would be the shell dwellers. Well, first of all, they do have a lot of shell homes, and they're always guarding their shell homes. So I don't think they would really appreciate Cory cats down there, and I think they would definitely kill them.
Shell dwellers are territorial, especially when they're breeding. We've got a number of them, including one of the tanks right behind us here, this 50-gallon low boy shell dweller tank. It's just not a good mix. They're both going to be inhabiting the same part of the tank, and most cichlids get aggressive when they are breeding, and the shell dwellers are no exception to that. I would stay away from mixing shell dwellers and the Cory cats. Now the other one to consider are your other African cichlids, especially those from Lake Malawi. The Mbuna cichlids, the peacock cichlids, it's not a good mix. Again, these are fish that are going to be territorial, rather assertive / aggressive. And Cory cats, again, they're just not aggressive fish. They are a bad choice for a bottom-dwelling fish in your Malawi African cichlid tanks for sure.
Now I think we can move on to the South and Central American cichlids, some of which may be just a bit too aggressive.
So we're thinking about firemouth cichlids, Jack Dempsey's, convicts. These are fish, again, that get territorial, and the Cory cats, they just don't have a good sense of when to stay away from other fish and will often venture right in to these fish's territory, and that can be an issue. So watch out for some of those medium-sized South and Central American cichlids that just might be too aggressive for your Cory cats. But also pay attention once again to size. And a lot of our South and Central American cichlids just get too large, and they will attempt to eat your Cory cats, like your Oscars, your Red Devils, your Midas cichlids, some of your Vieja. These are fish that are just too big, and they'll have the same issues we talked about earlier with the goldfish. When they try to eat them, you might wind up with not only the Cory cat go missing, but if it gets lodged in the throat of your larger fish, you'll lose that one too.
So now if you're ready, I think we should do a surprise buddy that's not a good buddy. You ready? This is no buddy at all.
Cory cats do not do well on their own. If you've got an individual in a fish tank, it's just not an ideal way to keep them. They are fish that like to be in groups, often recommended at least 4, usually 6. If you can keep even more, it's better. Large groups of Cory cats are not only entertaining, they are usually confident, they're going to be out more, they're going to show better behavior. But when you're keeping them individually, it usually means that they're not going to be very comfortable. So just keep that in mind. One of the worst bad buddies you can have are no buddies at all for your Cory cats. So those were some options, some ideas of fish not to keep with your Cory cats, because we get that question a lot. Again, we've got a species profile, which I will put right here in the center of the screen, as well as in the description below. Appreciate you being here, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.